So what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing? Why not?
I'm trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is how much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiba grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
You weren't singing.
No, I was reading. I have a hard time. Oh, gross.
Oh, must be medical stuff. So, hi, how are you? I'm Al.
I'm high.
You know, me too. I am really, because I got my monthly stash in, and what I ordered, I got some Tom Ford.
Oh yeah. Did you share the link yet?
No, just give me a sec. I got some Tom Ford. I got some Death Bubba, and I got some Bubba Kush. To find out, all three strains are developed from Bubba.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bubba Kush is a good breeder strain because of the large buds. Its growing cycle, so it's been used.
And they are huge buds.
Yes. Oh yeah, and they've been used to, enhance. I grew Bubba Kush one time, and fuck, what a mess! I had buds that were bigger than 2-liter pop bottles. Can't support their own weight. They got to be trellised.
Good deal. Oh, because they're so big.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me. I want to share here, so we can get that out of the way. Sharing is caring. And I also, while I'm sharing, I'll let people know that if you're sick of watching us on social networks, you can now watch us at 420radio.ca with chat, and as well as at 420pace.ca with chat. And please join our YouTube channel with chat.
and our Facebook stream with chat.
Yes, but eventually they block us, so no chat.
What do you mean they block us?
Eventually,
only when we play copyright crap
get edited. It's a little bit more often than that these days, unfortunately.
Well, that's because their algorithm sucks.
Well, yes, and their porn is showing up perfectly. Thanks for removing your censorship, by the way, guys, because now you can actually view porn on Facebook.
Oh, trust me, I know. I've seen enough.
All week, it's been porn, and dating sites with women who are spread eagle. Is that what they call it now? Spread eagle?
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just.
I'd like to know where to actually meet a girl like that. That's what I'd like to know, Marcel. How do I actually meet a girl like that?
But do you want to?
Well, yes, that's my style.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Hey, what was I doing?
Did you watch the
I was sharing
the
show. You know what? I did. I lasted 10 fucking minutes and I shut it off.
Oh, okay.
I did not enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
We used to, you're this in my age bracket, so you know that when the award shows came on, even when it was black and white television, we were sitting in front of the fucking television. Everybody was, at least my family.
Yeah,
and then when the music shows started, the Emmys and the music shows and stuff like that. We did this. That was our entertainment. It was before movies were even really on television, right?
Yeah. See, I never watched them. I never get into the whole crap. I always thought it was crap.
Well, I used to enjoy it. I mean, I used to.
I figure why sit through 1 or 2 hours of bullshit when I can just wait and get the highlight reels off of YouTube later of all
this is what I do now, bud. But I was, I watched the Fire Aid concert, and I really enjoyed that. So I was and it was that week, and so I was in that mode, right? Yeah. I love watching concerts, especially concerts that I was at, right?
Yeah.
And it was a lunch bag letdown, and I went and I just went and watched Discovery.
See, I prefer studio music over live music unless I'm physically there.
I've watched some live music, especially David Gilmour and those people of that caliber, and sometimes they're better than the studio.
I don't like the crowds.
You get several different. A perfect example of a band that's good in both is the Tragically Hip. You watch a Tragically Hip concert on TV, on a movie screen, on your computer or your phone, and you become interacted with that, partially because it's Gord Downey and the Tragically Hip.
Actually, no, I don't.
Yeah, well, I do.
You do. I
Most
don't.
People
it's
do.
The same thing as I can't go around crowds. I mean, I have a hard time being around.
I do as well.
Right? But my problem isn't the fact that I'm around crowds. It's there's just so much information coming in at one time.
Yes, I get that. I've left concerts.
Watching a concert online, like watching any video of a concert, a live concert. My problem is I hear all of the background.
Yes.
I hear the people talking. I hear them screaming. I hear them cheering, and that throws off the music, and I don't like it.
I stare at the soundboard people because I usually park myself beside the soundboard because I like to watch what's going on, but that takes away. It's like cell phones now. You go to a concert and most people are holding their cell phones. I do it, but you're really not there to hold your cell phone. Watch the concert.
See, Leonard Skinner's coming this fall, so I might grab tickets and go see Leonard Skinner.
I saw Ozzy.
If I'm there in person, it's different. I can pretty much handle it.
I saw Ozzy at Budweiser stage with my sister, and you know what? Knowing about his Parkinson's, this was just a few years ago. Knowing about his Parkinson's, knowing about his health, and that I was waiting for overdubbing. And he was live. He had some enhancements in his mic, I'm sure, but he was bouncing around like Ozzy does. And now I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that they're gonna stream this last concert that he wants to do with Sabbath, because this will be his last concert. He can't walk anymore.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking is Ozzy going to be able to make it through his last concert?
Well, you know what? We're going to find out because he's going to try. And Phil Collins did it.
Yeah. Hi, Dee. Dee said hello, Al. Don't be rude.
Dee. Oh, I had it covered up. Hi, Dee. So listen, before we go too far into the show,
what are you smoking?
I don't know what this is, but I got this in with
Neither do I now. All I saw was a big white glare.
What, this? You can't. I'm not even. I just show you the doobie. But this is my mystery free pre-roll that I got, and I have no idea what it is. So we've got an hour and 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so. So I may be asleep at the end of the show. I may be a rambling fool, but here goes nothing.
Uh-oh.
What?
What's it taste like? Does it taste like
I
Kush?
don't know. Let me light it. Do your job.
Taste it now before you light it.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do?
As soon as you suck on it, you're going to taste it.
I'm going to, no. I'm going to re-roll it so I can look at the...
Oh,
Actually,
you don't want to do that.
It's really nicely packed. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that only because you might find stock and shit like that. You'd rather not see that.
Did you share the video you had me... No, I didn't think so.
What video?
I tagged you. You're having some temple ball. Now, you see, that's something I would like to try.
Oh, I have it here.
I'm not there, am I?
No, that's because you decided to go north instead of east.
Yeah.
Add the profile. There we go. Well,
I'm not tasting much of anything.
No?
No.
Because usually that very first little draw on it without lighting it, I can tell you whether or not I'm going to want to light it.
Yeah, it's not lighting very well because it's really tight.
And if I
did, you know what? To be honest, I mean, I've had a few of these mystery pre-rolls, and they're usually very dry, end of the bag.
It's just the stuff that lands on the floor. At the end of the day, they sweep it up.
Okay, I got a nice haul there, and it's
Dago Walker crossed with Chem 91. Okay, T, that sounds interesting. I'm already into Dale's Napoli Temple Ball. I've got some here tonight.
Send me a chunk when you send me those seeds, buddy. Dale has a contest going on Instagram. Dale, post your contest link here in the thing, and I'll share it, buddy.
I went looking for it. It looked like it was gone.
Oh, did they crap you on it?
Was it a contest or a poll?
It was a poll that he was giving some seeds away for doing, or something like that.
No, it's a poll on.
Can you read that? Is that font okay?
I like that font.
All right.
It's over. It only lasted for 24 hours. What was your answer, Dale? Yeah, it was on pricing of seeds. How much should you charge?
Oh, that's right. Yes. That's right.
Who said buck a seed?
Most people, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what they think that it's worth.
Well, you know, when you go and spend $4.50 on a bag of sunflower seeds, and there's 300 or 400 in there, you do kind of think, is sunflower more needed than cannabis? No. Is cannabis more needed than sunflowers? No. Are they both needed, though? Yes. Price them accordingly. What was that? I can't even read that, buddy.
What I have mine at $50. So $5 a seed, which is a very fair price.
Yeah,
not a fair price is the one that's out there selling a single seed for $500.
My first seeds that I got was from the bikers down on Lakeshore in Toronto. Well, in Tobacoke. And it was I guess it was just the Toronto Seed Bank or whatever it was. And I paid $50 for 5 BC skunk seeds, and that was in the 80s.
Yeah. Seeds were never cheap.
But prices prices have gone up, obviously, but
right.
Not from like you said, one seed and that those prices, no. A reputable breeder is going to be reasonable with their prices because they want their product out there, I would think.
Exactly. $200. So new seeds at Buddy Goss cost them $200 for 5 seeds.
Did I already post that one? You're going to have to do that, Bud, because I can't even see the screen.
Yeah.
So
yeah, $200 for a 5-pack of seeds. Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Buddy, you should contact Dale. Get in touch with him. I think he's got a better rate. Just saying. Yeah. I know. I think most I paid is probably $10 a seed, and that's only because they were the last of the seeds.
Prices, to be honest, prices on OCS, the Ontario Cannabis Store. OCS, yeah. Is that what I said? Just a second, I got to sneeze.
Bless you.
The prices at the OCS are very reasonable.
For 5 seeds.
For cannabis seeds, yes. Very reasonable. I have purchased some and had a little bit of luck with the Pineapple Express, although I should have done it in here, not out there, which I got from them. But as we've discussed many times, my issue right now is the cold.
Yeah.
What is he saying?
I'm not there. I'm putting in a birth code to verify my age that I'm an old fucker. Especially seeds from Muriel Guzman and HSO Collab Limited Tax. Oh, they're special seeds.
They're special. Are they on the short bus special?
All right, hang on now.
This doobie is making me not be able to see.
Seeds. I'm just looking at Nova Scotia Liquor seeds to see what they have.
Well, I would think that they'd be comparable to what they were paying here in Ontario.
Anywhere from $48 up to $45.
Okay, they're a little bit more expensive.
Oh, no, sorry. Anywhere from $40 up to $55.
They're a little bit. I saw some there for $65, $75, but they change their seeds all the time, right?
I'm just looking to see what they have here. So they got 34th Street Acapulco Gold.
Ooh.
34th Street BCP seed. 34th Street Bubba Kush. So those are all 50.
Okay, so question. While you're going through that, do you think Bubba Kush would be a good one for downstairs or outside? Here.
Inside flower it soon, because it's got a good stretch during flowering. Really big buds.
Because it's a nice strain. I like it. The other one is
finished, but the problem is it's going to outgrow your greenhouse.
Okay, so that would be something that I'd want to just sit out, let it out, just sit it out.
Yeah.
What about Death Bubba? Same thing.
Same thing.
Okay, and what about Tom Ford?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know that strain. So.
And they're each different. They're very different buzzes. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, Death Bubba they'll be like, "Oh, you're going to knock yourself out." And actually, Death Bubba for me is very uplifting and calming. It doesn't make me think too much. Where the Bubba Kush, I'm like thoughts all over the fucking place, but it'll lull me to sleep pretty quick too.
I'd like to know what this BCP is.
BCP. It doesn't tell you what the actual strain is?
No.
Would a hash plant be good here?
If you're growing hash, sure. Hash plants tend to be shorter plants and really resin covered, susceptible to mold because there's so much crystal. Cherry spice. It doesn't tell me anything about this BCP other than the fact they're claiming it'll give you 23 to 33% THC, and I don't.
Yeah, right. I don't go by that at all.
Yeah, I'm not going to take their word for it here.
The only
might
thing
be a little more honest at 9 to 15%.
The only thing that I do like knowing is if there's any CBD in there. And I know that some companies now in Ontario are putting other terpenes as well.
Oh, here's one. Humboldt Jelly Donuts, Auto, 30 to 35%.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, I'm not going to spend $55 to find out that it's an auto flower. Oh, it's a CBD. Oh no, sorry. It can have 1 to 10 milligrams of CBD. So that's an awful wide range on the CBD. That's cute. But all of their seeds are out of stock online.
Question on the screen, Marcel.
No. Sorry, there's 3 of them. They're in stock, all the 34th Street stuff. All right, let me go back to the screen and find the question. Yes, Dale, that's what I said, is the NSLC site. So they got a few of them that are in stock, the 34th Street products.
Did you see the screen? The question on the screen, though, Marcel?
Just hang on.
I feel like I'm talking to myself.
Have you had pine tar kush? Pine tar kush.
I've never heard of it.
Pine tar kush.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
I've had early purple kush that was really, really pine flavored.
But you don't like kushes, do you?
I hate kush.
Yeah. Is it the taste?
Yep.
Because it's very diesel-y usually.
No, it's very cushy.
Well, yeah, I see. Yeah.
Diesel and kush have 2 different tastes.
Yeah, similar though.
No, it's a totally different punch.
Pungent.
It for me
stinks at my house.
Yeah, kush. This is rude. I once had to go to a kids' basketball game, and I was sitting beside some lady that I couldn't breathe every time she moved and opened her legs. Kind of a yeasty, reddish, funky mushroom smell.
Yeah, I remember that smell from high school, buddy.
Well, that's how I relate kush. Kush smells like a mushroom with a yeast infection.
Alrighty then.
now this
next rude comment.
Everybody off.
We just lost 4 people.
Oh God, he's talking about yeast infection. I can cure yeast infections in less than 24 hours. Just in case. And if I'd known that back then, I would have made that suggestion to that young lady, but I was too busy trying to breathe. Anyways, on to bigger and better things. So Dale's got an idea of what prices are like. I was looking at an article stating that medical marijuana is more effective than prescription medications for treating chronic pain. Study finds. Well, I'm glad that study was done, but I could have told you that about 15 fucking years ago. New research study conducted by a federal researcher at the National Cancer Institute. Oh wow!
I posted a couple articles there in our chat.
That's what I'm looking at right now. This was funded by the state of Pennsylvania's Medical Marijuana Academic Clinical Research Program.
Here, let's bring it up on the screen, buddy.
Sure.
Are you able to do that, or do you want me to do it?
Hang on, I might be able to do it.
I know you know how to do it.
I know how to do it.
Okay, what is Buddy saying here?
All gas and cinnamon cookie. Okay, that sounds cool.
Dale's laughing at you. Now he's laughing at me, you bastard.
He's not laughing at me. I'm innocent.
He was. Look, you see, he was right here. Look.
Yeah, I know. I saw him. All right, can you see that? This is such a terrible way to try and share this.
No, really. I can make it big.
Yeah, but when I go to scroll and then stupid banners come up. Anyways, concludes that despite some methodological limitations, the analysis was able to determine using causal interference techniques that the use of medical marijuana for chronic pain under medical supervision is at least effective and potentially more effective in relationship to patients with chronic pain treated by prescription medications, non-opioid or opioid. And we've always known that cannabis helps chronic pain or helps patients with chronic pain. Chronic pain is different, though.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me.
Well, no, see, because chronic pain means that it's there all the time.
24/7, 365.
Right. So you have two types of pain. You have acute pain, which is you burn yourself. That's an acute pain, right? It's instant. It's there. But once it's healed, it goes away. Right?
Yes. Unfortunately,
chronic pain
both
is there in the background all the time. So as humans, as a defense mechanism, we develop blocks that help alleviate a lot of that pain. Right? So I've met patients with MS who claim they're not in pain. Once they start using medical cannabis, they realize how much pain they were actually in and how much better they feel without that pain.
I got a point to make there. When I am out, and you know this, Marcel, when I am out, I don't take anything for pain other than cannabis. I don't take anything for my mood disorder and depression and ADHD except for cannabis. So when I'm out, and then on top of that, it helps regulate my diabetes and helps with the pain there. So when I'm out, I'm in bed. It's simple as that. I mean, maybe not the next day, but within a day or two, I'm in bed feeling sick. I can't eat because I'm nauseated all the time. Blah, 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 blah. So does that make me a pothead, a junkie, or a medical person that uses cannabis and not pills? The only pills I take are for my diabetes. That's it. So I don't really like when somebody goes, "Oh, baby, you're all that kind of shit," right?
Yeah, no. Do they say that to people that are all out of their insulin?
I don't hear that. I don't hear that from people when I'm out of my metformin. No.
Yeah, no. Oh, poor thing. You're out of your pharmaceutical poison. Yeah. You don't hear that. No.
I am.
But it's
you get like I mean it's stupid. It's ironic, but you get the point we're trying to make, right?
Right. Yeah, it's the stigma is still there.
I said to my friend the other day, I only have 2 doobies left. I knew I was getting my meds yesterday, but I only had two doobies left the night before, and I had already started panicking about not being able to sleep, which I couldn't. And I got,
Yeah.
So I don't like that. It changes my flavor and opinion on people when they do things like that, because I don't do that.
So, yeah, their study basically proved what we've already been saying for years.
Cannabis helps.
Yeah. And
it's not a cure. It's not a cure. It is to help you maintain and deal with. It short circuits your pain receptacles so that it's out of your mind, basically. It doesn't stop it.
Yeah.
It changes your whole like
no, what it does is it improves your quality of life if taken properly.
Yes. Thank you.
And when I say taken properly, I mean not taking it to get high. High is a effect of cannabis.
You can get high and still medicate with cannabis. I'm doing it right now.
No. But what I'm saying is a lot of people have a hard time differentiating the difference between high and relief, right?
Well, because there really isn't any difference. You're being high is your fucking relief. Hello.
No, there is a difference. If you're a chronic pain patient, you have chronic pain. If the pain is gone, you have relief. But if the pain is gone and you're high, you have too much.
Well, yes, and you know what? Sometimes I over-medicate. So do you.
I'm doing it now. It's called Friday night, right?
My point. But I'm recreational. I'm recreational right now. Talk to me in the morning, and I'm medical.
I do that instead of alcohol.
I don't drink. I had one of those shot things on New Year's Eve and a tall boy. That was it.
Right.
When we were kids, oh God.
Buddy's saying something that I used to say, but I don't say anymore.
Well, no, but it's absolutely true. I agree. This is what I was getting at. Everybody is medical. They just choose to call it recreational because they don't get what they're doing is helping their quality of life. Even if you're smoking a joint after work to relax. Hello. It's no different than having a glass of wine, really, when you get home.
You could have a Xanax for that.
My doctor, I have to go for an MRI on my knee and my leg. And so my doctor's giving me some Ativan.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I won't be driving on that.
So, Buddy's brought up a good point. Charging up the endocannabinoid system is 100% the lack of endocannabinoid produced naturally in the body.
Yes.
And I perfectly agree with that. So, at what point does distillate fall under medical?
It doesn't, and I don't think
ever
it should ever.
So that's my problem is we do have recreational cannabis now, and that's distillates. Because medically, they're fucking useless. They have no useful compound other than getting high, which is a side effect of all of the other cannabinoids that aren't there. Right? So it's the other cannabinoids you want to get you healthy.
I equate distillates and what's the other one? Isolates. The same effect that I got when I had to take Sesamet, Nabalone, because I didn't have a regular supply of cannabis.
Right, and all you were getting was a synthetic THC, no other cannabinoids.
And a headache and I was grumpy all the time. And then eventually, because of the carrier, you end up with bad kidney pain.
Right. So here's the best example of how to explain distillates. If I invite you over to my house and offer you your favorite cherry cheesecake.
Oh, yum, yum.
You love cherry cheesecake, and when you sit down, I put down a bowl of cherries in front of you. Are you going to be happy about this?
No, because
It's
there's no.
it's a cherry cheesecake distillate, because I've taken one compound out of the whole mixture and served it to you. That's your distillate.
Yes.
Right? Because nothing else is with it. So there's your cheesecake. Enjoy.
Yeah, no, I don't. I like, I don't particularly like the isolates and the distillates.
Yeah. So that's
There's really no difference. It's just a way that it's made, right?
Right. Well, the issue is the market gets flooded. It has gotten flooded.
And as Dee says, no terps.
Right. Well, no, because it's a distillate.
Yeah. Although they do, some companies do try and add terpenes into it, do they not?
Yeah, some do.
Yeah.
But it's like Buddy says, where did the terps come from? Are they cannabis terps, or are they terpenes from, Margolians and crap like that? And so you don't know where your terpenes are going to be coming from and what strains of flowers they may be, but you can be pretty much guaranteed they're not going to be coming from a cannabis plant. So this has been my biggest beef with legalization and the influx of distillates into the market that's supposedly being a medical market, but now a bunch of inadequate products that are being sold. Doctors don't know the difference. They just tell the patients, "Oh, you can go to the liquor store and pick up some cannabis there." They have tinctures. They have capsules.
Do they
Just
not?
get it from them.
I know. You go to the liquor store. You literally do go to the liquor store to get your cannabis,
Yeah.
but they don't have they don't distinguish between the two. They just say it's the liquor store. They don't say it's the pot shop.
Well, it's in the liquor store. It's a separate room within the liquor store.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And anybody that is looking for medical cannabis has to know what they're looking for a medical product, because they will tell you right to your face they do not sell medical cannabis products.
And they're not allowed to give you advice unless it's personal advice, and that's not medical.
Exactly. So,
right. Specifically, a licensed bud tender in Canada cannot discuss medical value of cannabis with you.
Right. With anybody, because the reason being is Health Canada, the last thing Health Canada ever wants to do is admit that cannabis is a medicine, because then they would lose millions
still on
in
their
funding.
website that it's not recognized, and it's spelt with a H.
Right. And that's because the pharmaceutical companies control Health Canada.
Right? And they spell it with an H?
No, I'll go one step further. The pharmaceutical companies control the entire healthcare system. Right? From start to finish, it's controlled by the pharmaceutical companies, because they're the ones that put the funding into, oncology research centers at hospitals and things like that. Mm-hmm. Right? They're the ones that are collecting all the money, but they're also the ones that are creating the diseases for the cures that they never supply, but they do supply system maintenance.
As I said earlier in the week, I see a lot of pills going out and a lot of new pharmaceuticals coming on the market, but I've never seen a cure. Although I saw Bill Gates talking about polio is about to be wiped out completely, which is a good thing.
Yeah, considering how many cases that he spread in India. Right? That's the thing, is India doesn't really think real highly of Mr. Gates and
Oh,
his
I'm sure they do. I'm
vaccination
sure
program,
a lot of
and
people.
how many people got screwed in India because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Got to remember, Bill Gates is also the guy that goes on stage and says that we've got to reduce the world's population by 90% through the use of vaccines.
Correct.
Right? So
he's doing the circuit right now on the talk shows because of his new book.
He's also doing a new thing that he's promoting, which is a microchip birth control device for women. So it'll be an implant that women will have that they can remotely turn on or off in case she ever wants to get pregnant.
Wow, which sounds kind of interesting, but will it
Sounds
work?
kind of scary.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things
So
going on.
you're going to have a little lithium battery in your womb for the next 15 years. What could go wrong, right? Oh, by the way, this Temple Ball is really good, Phil.
Like I said, I've never tasted it, and you can't get it at the legal store, I don't think. Maybe you can. I will look. Ooh.
I'm going to die. I might die.
On the air.
Yeah. Yeah, so medical cannabis, and I said this back when Mr. Trudeau started with his whole little legalization plan that patients are going to get fucked. Well, patients have thoroughly gotten fucked. We can't get medical products through a legal market. Nobody's allowed to talk about medical cannabis in a legal market. So we have no medical program in Canada. What we do have is a Smith ruling that allows patients to supply other patients but still be subjected to excise taxes and sales taxes.
Yeah, we've got 14 days of no GST if you apply for it or something like that.
That didn't work on the cannabis. That was only on junk food and fast food.
They didn't remove the GST from the cannabis.
No. And only off of certain liquors.
All right, we need to take a break.
Yep.
And we'll be right back. But I just want to say one thing before we leave.
Are you looking for non-stop, continuous cannabis and psychedelic programming? If you are, then turn your browsers to 420radio.ca or paceradio.net, where you will find the 420 Pace re-rolled Saturday. Everything gets started at 8 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning.
Yeah, I didn't think it was loud enough either, buddy.
Nobody heard it.
Yeah. I could do it again. Here, hold on a second. What I said was, keep my wife's name out of the fucking mouth. You heard that, didn't you?
Does that keep my wife's name?
Yeah, it's Will Smith at the Oscars.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a good performance, actually.
And you know, I
saw the movie with the original performance, and it was like almost perfect. It was good.
He showed up at the Grammys for the first time since he was shunned from the Oscars.
Aww.
It was his first public appearance on a main stage.
Okay, so you watched all that shit, right? Somebody's got to explain to me. Anybody, I don't care who's listening. Somebody, please explain to me what in the fuck was his kid doing with a box on his head?
I don't know.
Was it like supposed to be symbolic of something, or
it was a hat? It was a box hat.
But it went right around his face. It's just his face sticking out in front of this.
That's
building.
What everybody was calling it, was a box hat.
And who was the other one? Oh, what's the other video that everybody got? Oh, Kanye.
And his
Kanye West.
girlfriend? Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel kind of sorry for her because I don't think she really wanted to fucking do that.
He said this week that he's not bipolar.
Yeah, well, dude, you got more problems than just bipolar if you're going to get your girl to go out and do that, obviously against her wishes. Kind of a dick move. Oh, man. See, this is the problem. The entertainment industry is totally fucked.
Not
You got
like
Diddy and his diddlers, and
when Bob Hope walked out on the stage at one of those kinds of events, either an Academy event or whatever, people went, "Oh, that's Bob Hope," and they laughed and they had fun. It's not fun watching those shows anymore. It really isn't. It's a big political, personal statement.
Except
that has
Ricky Gervais. I'm going to give a shout out to Ricky Gervais because he hosted, I think it was the Oscars or something stupid like that, and he got up on stage and he told them, "Come up, get your fucking word, thank your God, thank your family, and get the fuck off the stage and keep your fucking political ideals out of your mouth because you have no right to be talking about it."
Well, right? I mean, you do have the right to be talking about it, but that's not the right
in that forum.
That's not
exactly.
The right,
And it never should be on that forum, but look how many times it was.
And it keeps happening it over and over and over and over and over again.
Because everybody wants to throw politics into it.
Well, I mean, politics and entertainment really have no business being together unless it's about a movie. I mean,
I honestly think the politics and the movie industry is all being written from the same scripts, anyways.
Well, a lot of the movies that you see now are taken from real life events.
Mm-hmm.
Or partially, like the Hunt for Red October. Who's the guy that wrote that book? I can't remember his name. He died a few years ago.
Clancy, wasn't it?
Yes. And
Tom Clancy wrote that one?
Tom Clancy, and he worked in the industry for a very long time before he started writing his books. So a lot of what he wrote about in his books and and movies came from real life experiences or from stories from people he knew who had those real life experiences.
You're talking.
He wrote about a lot of real shit, is what I'm getting at.
Right, but you're also talking about Ian Fleming did the same thing.
Yes, he did.
Right? He created a whole character.
Apparently, the character of 007 was a real person.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. And he turned around and turned that real person into a complete believable story. Well, some of it got a little unbelievable later on, but
American what was it? American Soldier? No, American Bradley Cooper about this American Sniper is a fictionalized story about a real sniper who and his life, and they even played homage to him at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And that movie showed you what a military person goes through from start to finish, quite literally, in the worst conditions that you can go and fight a war in. Basically, he was a sniper. He killed people.
Yeah.
And then he became a celebrity because of it.
Yeah.
And then he killed himself.
Yep.
So.
Well, I mean,
it's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah, but spending time in the military makes you a different person, and how you.
Well, and you would know that. How many years did you spend in the military?
Almost 8. Well, before that, so overall 10.
and you went overseas, and you went up north,
way up north,
and
I went up so far north that we had to look south to see the northern lights.
way far, way farther north than I am. And you've been
We
around
actually no. Wait, this is funny because I shared this the other day about life on Mars, and it was
which is going to happen very soon.
Yeah, bullshit. It was an image that they showed about the rover on Mars.
The new one?
Yeah.
I watched that launch.
There's no rover on Mars. It's on Devon Island up in the Arctic Circle. I was on that island in 1981. I was literally stranded on that island. It hasn't changed. There's nothing there. The reason it's there is it looks like Mars.
So you're saying that's where they did the moonshot?
Well, the moonshot, that was a Kubrick studio thing. But if you go online and look, just Google Devon Island Mars base, you'll see it. Because they're doing research because they figured that's as close to what it would be like to be on Mars. Right? So this rover images, when you zoom in on the pictures, you see footprints on Mars. Right? And the footprints are going across the rover tracks. So somebody on Mars had to walk across the rover track.
Whoops.
But yeah, there is an actual Mars base on Devon Island up in the Arctic Circle that researchers use.
Because it's got the same environment.
Well, to a point. I mean, the temperature is going to be different, but yeah.
Well, how cold? I watched
so much the same environment. It's the same characteristics geographically.
I watched a launch beginning of the month, I guess. And it was going up to put in orbit a vehicle to go down on the moon.
Yep.
And then a manned flight, a manned rocket is going up, if it hasn't already, and they're going to make a base on the moon. But apparently Japan is already there doing that.
Oh.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I didn't see anything about Japan. I just saw in a few posts that Japan was already doing that. And I don't know if it's true or not. If it is, I don't think it should matter. I mean, you've got Russians, even though with the tension that's going on here on Earth, you've got Russians and Chinese and Japanese at the fucking International Space Center living life together. You know, why can't we do it on the moon?
Exactly. But why
can't I think the real question is why can't we protocol? Why can't we fucking do it on Earth?
Well, yeah, but why? Those guys sitting in a space station that's basically it's a satellite circling the planet.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
It's floating around up there, and you've got members from different countries.
Yeah.
So you've got some cosmonauts, you've got some U.S.
and they each have their own wing of the space center now. They have their own areas, but I believe they live and work together.
So before they get sent up, what are they given for protocols in a worst case scenario?
I have no idea, but that's an interesting question. But
isn't it? Because nobody's going to talk about that.
But that's an interesting question that movies have already tackled.
Speculated,
yes. Okay.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Well, nobody knows what's really going to happen when somebody says there's an inbound nuclear missile heading for ya. What do we do now?
Well,
nobody knows what that guy who has to react because there's one person that's going to push a button that's going to start whatever's got to be started. Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going to happen. Well, I guess we do, because it's kind of happening over in the East and other countries, right? So,
well, look at it this way: the last time the world saw the devastating effects of a nuclear explosion was the 40s. All right. Very, very few people are alive today that remember that event.
Yes.
So that is ancient history.
And that you're talking about D-Day?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about D-Day was in Europe. I'm talking when they dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Right?
Oh, the big one, the atomic. Yeah, okay.
When they lit up those with atomic bombs, they showed the world the devastating effects of an atomic bomb.
Yeah, what nuclear was capable of. Yes.
Right. Don't forget, the world didn't have internet then.
No, but it traveled pretty fucking quick.
Not everybody got to see what the devastating effects are. We're now in an age of people that they won't believe it until they see it online.
If you want to know what the devastating effect is of a nuclear bomb or radiation from it, look at Chernobyl and what's still going on there. They're now building another case to go over the well that holds all the rods that still are very, very dangerous.
But Chernobyl wasn't the case of a malicious attack of somebody.
No, and I'm not saying it was. What I'm saying is the effect. The effect.
Right. For the radiation effects and things like that.
Well, it changed a country.
Right. But a lot of, with new nuclear weapons, a lot of them don't have that same type of radioactivity that a plant like Chernobyl, which has hundreds of rods.
What happened first?
So you don't get as much spies. 3 Mile Island happened first, didn't it?
Yeah, I was going to ask if 3 Mile Island, and then we've had a mishap or two at the Pickering plant, which is
cooling water issues.
Yes, I know about the Pickering plant because I know the engineer who helped design it. I knew him when I was a kid. He was the parent of one of the girls I went to school with that I helped at when I helped at the Armenian Pavilion for Caravan. And he gave me a poster of the Pickering plant. And I believe they've taken that offline recently, have they not?
I don't know if they've taken that one off. I was a frequent visitor to Point La Pro's nuclear plant because they were one of my customers.
And where was that?
In New Brunswick. So about once a month, I'd have to go into the nuclear facility and go through everything and work with the guys and then leave and then go through all of the radiation detection crap to get out of the building.
I've had to go through radiation detection stuff because I worked at a hospital for a little while.
I did it years before that through training for nuclear, biological, chemical warfare.
Well, this was just because I was in the vicinity of the X-ray area.
Yeah. If a nuclear, here, I'm going to give you all a little tidbit. If a nuclear war was to strike, all right, and there was a threat of nuclear missiles coming at you, first off, nuclear missiles are going to be aimed at very densely populated areas such as 15-minute cities, okay, because you can get a mass casualty out of it in a small area. So get out of cities, get away from high population area. If you're outdoors and you know that there's a missile coming, we were actually trained to do this. Crawl into a culvert and cover your head and hang on.
If Russia was to send a missile and the U.S. sent a counter missile, it would intercept somewhere over Lake Superior.
Why? Very likely, in a case like that, coming from Russia, it would go off over the Pacific or Bering Strait
before it even got here. Yes.
Right. I mean, that's the whole idea of a missile defense system. Israel used a missile defense system in a number of the attacks. They've got I forget the name that they have for theirs, but they have a missile defense system that was pretty successful at stopping a lot, but not all.
Not all. No. And the
nuclear missiles
there were more that it stopped. We didn't hear about the ones that it stopped. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah. But the nuclear missiles are a little different. All right, because one, they're bigger. A lot of times,
and the radiation is the bad thing, right?
Well, but a lot of times they're airborne, so they're in planes being ready to be launched from aerial platforms versus bunkers in the ground. I mean, there's still bunkers in the ground that have these missiles, but trust me, there's planes flying around with them as well as submarines.
Right now.
Yes.
Oh, right? Yes.
So basically, it's a big deterrent of, well, you be nice, we're going to fire.
It's a game of who's going to push that button first, is what it is.
That's all it is. And all it is having all of these countries armed, which is why Iran wants nuclear capability to basically be in the same ballpark as the rest of the world. And say, okay, we now have our own deterrent. You can't threaten us anymore because we'll nuke you. Right? Whether or not they would be the first ones to fire it, you never know. Right? Just depends on who they're aiming at. In most cases, it would be Israel, but it just depends on who got pissed off first that's going to pull the trigger first. So hopefully it never comes to that. The aliens come and wipe out all humanity first and get it over with and let the planet start over again.
Right. And on that note, guess what time it is?
Time to take a break.
This, guys, is a BT bottle with a little straw on the end of it, okay? Back in the day, we used to have glass bottles, soda pop in glass bottles, okay? Soft drinks. And this was built for the old school hash. This is the hash that your uncles and your grandparents would get. And this is the stuff that we would all treasure whenever we could get it because we thought it was the best stuff because it's the constant. It was our form of concentrate.
Correct.
When we were young, right?
Yes.
This is
to answer your question now.
Oh, here we go.
Forward.
Now you're going to cut this out if it doesn't work, right?
You just cut it out now. These are the 3 tools I use to form and shape the happens. So now once the prep work is done over on the lathe, it now has to come over to me to put the mouthpiece on and finish off the top part. So first up, I just need to clean up and close off the top that's left over. First thing I'll do is I will heat up the corner and I'll push in the Maria, which is the circular lump that acts as a stopper. Right? Whereas I'm kind of like, I'm 49 years old, but I don't have time to be an artist.
You know, but each one is individual, though. There's only one of each. So it does make it art.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Timmy.
And I'm Mary Jane. He's the newbie.
She's the doobie, and this is the show
where we
tote
cannabis.
Talk.
From both sides.
Is that even possible?
So I wanted to send a shout out to Dave over at the Happle, because this is the dewdrop. You've seen this, right, Marcel?
Yep.
I broke my stem, and I received 2 today, replacements. So thank you for that, Dave. I'll be able to resume using my dewdrop.
I am reading a medical paper.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Should I hit that button?
In a medical journal about cannabis. And the title of this paper is
medical journal.
It is from the JAMA Network. So I had to go and look that up, what the JAMA Network is, and it is an open source for biosciences, for any paper studies, things like that. And this was, so here's the title: Changes in incident schizophrenia diagnosis associated with cannabis use disorder after cannabis legalization. So the question was, were the liberalization of medical cannabis and the legalization of non-medical cannabis in Canada associated with changes in the population attributable fraction of cannabis use disorders associated with schizophrenia?
Oh, yeah, I think that's one of the articles that I posted, isn't it?
You did. So, findings in this population-based cohort study comprising 13,588,681 individuals. The population attributable fraction of cannabis use disorder associated with schizophrenia increased significantly from 3.7% in the pre-legalization period to 10.3% during the post-legalization period.
Oh, this is the one that Mary Jane posted.
Yeah. So these findings suggest that the association between cannabis use disorders and schizophrenia as an important consideration for the legalization of cannabis.
Well, they've been saying that for years.
They've always tried to say that. So
they're trying to use that to stop legalization?
Yeah, because they don't want other countries to start using it. So this was actually brought to attention to us from UK media, right?
Yeah, from the international, yeah.
So United Kingdom would use this to
for the independent. Yeah, I'm going to post the article for anybody who wants to read it. I can actually bring it up if you want. I have it right here, Marcel.
Yeah, the article. Yeah, you can bring the article up. But the article, I had to go search for the study. The article doesn't have the study.
Okay, so this is the article, and I'm posting it into our chat thingy here. Oh. It's a long one, so I hope it posts okay. No, it didn't. No. Sorry.
Oh, you were just posting the link?
Yes.
I could read you the article. It's pretty freaking
well, I have the article up here. If you want to read it, I can scroll down. I can make it full screen. Would that help?
Oh, that's up to you. I'm just going to read. I'm reading it off my own full screen.
All right. Well, I will follow along for the listeners.
All right. So, overuse of high-potency cannabis could be linked to a sharp increase in schizophrenia cases in Canada, according to a new study that calls for a review of the drug's long-term effects. The study published in the journal JAMA Network Open, which I had to go look it up, found that the number of new schizophrenia cases linked to cannabis use disorder, CUD. Oh, we got our own new acronym, CUD.
Yeah. It's
CUD,
no longer
cannabis use disorder.
pieces.
Oh, Al, you suffer from CUD almost every month, don't you?
I do.
Cannabis use disorder, due to the fact that you don't have enough.
Yes.
Anyways, CUD has more than doubled in Ontario, rising from 4% to 10% after legalization of the drug. Researchers assess. So you've got 13.5 million people in Ontario using cannabis that were all checked for schizophrenia. That's fucking awesome. Researchers assessed whether the liberalization of medical cannabis in 2015 and legalization of non-medical cannabis in what liberalization did we get in 2015?
Oh my God.
I missed that one because in 2015 we were still fighting for rights as patients. And the legalization of non-medical cannabis in 2018 influenced the link between CUD and new schizophrenia diagnosis. Schizophrenia is a condition that affects how a person interprets reality, manifesting patients. Yada, yada, yada. All bullshit. If anything, cannabis may have brought out the underlying schizophrenia that those people had.
I'm gonna say what I've said many, many, many times on the show. When I turned 60, I was on Ritalin and Dexedrine, high doses from the age of 5 to 16, when I was asked if I was using cannabis and told by my doctor, my pediatrician, that if I was using cannabis to stop using the amphetamines.
Yeah, Canadian.
I have
it's Ontario study.
I have full-blown ADHD, a mood disorder, and keep going. So what if it causes schizophrenia? I'm already nuts. That's my view. That's my own personal thought on it. I have paperwork.
Yeah, this was done. They claim this was Ontario has had that increase.
I know, you know what? Ontario. I know that some of it is true. If somebody with a mental health issue smokes the wrong strain, just like if they take the wrong pharmaceutical, it's going to fuck them up. It could make them a little bit stressed. It could make them a little bit out there, a little trippy, whatever. Right. Yes, it could.
It also depends on how much they had. If they had a small regulated dose, then that may not be an issue. But if they're going to go to the point of greening out, I would expect.
Exactly. I'll give you a greening out example. Just happened the other night. A friend of mine who makes oil sampled the new batch and went for a little ride and thought they were having a heart attack. And now I've been through that because I've done that. And I'm sure Marcel has at some point had some kind of issue with overdoing it with oil.
Actually I did, and it happened to a bunch of us.
Okay, so I mean it happens, and when you're using it it
happened to all of us at the same night that we all saw the same hallucinations.
Oh well, that's cool.
Yeah, that was fucked up, man.
But my point is you know, it happens. I rushed to the hospital the first time. I thought I was having a heart attack, and the first thing out of the nurse's mouth was, "You're suffering from," and I know it's not the right word. It's hypermemesis or something like that.
Hyperemesis? I don't even believe that anymore. Because
and I just said to her, I said, "You know what? I've been a cannabis educator for years. Don't even talk to me about that." Right? Yeah. I just found it interesting. And then through conversations with other healthcare professionals, I found out that there are courses that medical professionals can take, but they choose not to. So there's no.
So
Here.
I'm gonna give you a totally different concept on how medical cannabis works. And I agree with Buddy Weeds. Nobody ever calls and talks about consumption to me, and I've been doing this for a long time. But I have a number of patients that are on very low dose.
Wait a minute. You edited that comment. You didn't actually read what it said.
What?
You put your own words in that comment. You didn't say for over 30 years. You said for a very long time.
No, I said for 30 years. I said I've been doing the same thing, and nobody's ever asked me on these surveys. And,
all right.
Right?
Never mind.
But I've got a number of patients that are on very low specific doses.
Yes.
And when I say low doses, I mean 3 milligrams of THC, right, with a whole plant extract and a few other little medicinal ingredients to make it work.
Milligrams, not grams.
Milligrams. 3 milligrams of THC.
So that's what, 0.03 or 0.3?
3 milligrams would be 0.03 grams.
So, like when I microdose the shroomies, it's 0.2.
Yeah, that's 200 milligrams.
Okay. That's what I was getting at, the difference.
Right.
So there's one zero there.
Yeah.
Another zero, I mean.
Yeah. So I'm talking extremely low dose.
Yes.
Because after 3 milligrams, a new user will start to feel the effects of cannabis. All right. And I've seen this time and time again that 3 milligrams seems to be the ideal dose for the majority of the population. Well,
that you don't get all fucked up?
That you don't get high, because your body is going to use the cannabinoids that it needs. All right. Any cannabinoids left over, all right, that are still in your bloodstream can go to your brain and get you high, right? If there's any left over. This is the whole issue of high without, or relief without high. All right. So what happens is all of these patients have an improved quality of life. They feel better, less pain, more active. Overall general health is better, but have never ever been high. How does it work? If I increase the dose, they still same quality of life, but now they get high for a few hours every time they take the dose. Well, it's too much. So it's called titration. All right. And the easiest way to do titration is you take a specific dose for 1 to 2 weeks. After 1 to 2 weeks, you increase that dose. If you feel high, but you're still discomfort, work through it and you'll be able to tolerate that high. Your body will basically adapt to it for that dose. If you get to a point where you have total relief, you're not high, you increase the dose, all of a sudden you're really high, then you cut back and you stay at that dose where you're not high. And this allows you to function throughout your day pain-free, right? Symptom-free, whatever, without being high or to the point of impaired, greening out, ready to puke, that type of thing. We had a girl do that one time in high school, junior high school. After lunch, come in, she greened right out in class, tried to make it to the bathroom, hit the chalkboard, hit the floor, puked all over herself. It was awesome. Especially when everybody's sitting there high laughing at her.
I've only experienced that with alcohol and hallucinogenics.
I've never
Yeah.
experienced it with hallucinogenics, but I've definitely experienced it with alcohol on more
The
than one.
last time I did acid in public, anyways, I was at the exhibition, and we were leaving, and I got on the streetcar, and you know what the exhibition streetcar is like. Crammed like sardines, and I started tripping, so I had to get off and walk home. I lived in Parkdale at the time, thank God. It was not a nice ride. My grandfather had just died. I had a bad trip, and I've never wanted to do it again. But I've gone up now as high as 0.3, 0.03 in the with the shrooms. But that's it.
No,
I'm not looking.
0.3.
0.3, yes.
Yeah, not 0.03.
Okay, 0.3.
0.03 of mushroom, you wouldn't feel anything.
Well, 0.3 then. Not and I usually do 0.2, right? So I
do 5 and you can talk to God.
I don't want that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want that. And if I did, I'd be outside in front of a fire with some friends, waiting for the bears to walk through.
That would be fun too.
Wouldn't that be a trip? Sitting
made
on my
that sound really
deck,
fun.
and a bear just walked by as I'm tripping. Because you know what? It happens.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually looking forward. I miss my bears. I sit up at night and wait for them to come just so that I can see them and say hi. I even go outside sometimes.
So Buddy says, because it's a lot to put up on that screen in that font, I see the whole dose thing is rather complex because it's full spectrum dose. It contains a lot of different compounds in it. And 10 milligrams is based on one cannabinoid, THC, and it's 1,000 milligrams per gram of THC. So, yeah, 10 milligrams of THC of whole plant is enough to get a lot of seasoned users high, right? And Darcy and I laugh about this all the time because Darcy will give his friends a gummy that's only got 15 milligrams of THC.
I tried some 10
But
milligrams.
he'll give it to people that take 200 milligram gummies and, oh yeah, they get no effect, and get knocked off their ass with a 15 milligram gummy.
Because it's the distillate versus FECO.
Exactly. So
FECO is full extract cannabis oil.
Right.
We don't call it Rick Simpson oil anymore.
You can call it anything you want, but in all honesty,
hemp oil.
There's a whole plant extract.
Yes.
All right. So you're basically using all of the available cannabinoids, polar and non-polar, if you can get.
And there's and there's an age-old argument that still goes on between oil men, whether or not you soak or dunk, and what solution you use to distillate or not distillate to extract your oil. Yeah.
So
some people are still using alcohol. Most people are using isopropyl alcohol, 99%, because it's unipolar. Unipolar.
Yes, bipolar.
Bipolar. So if you want bipolar cannabis oil.
Well, there's an advantage to it, but then there's arguments behind it. All right. So
this is why I brought it up, because I'd like to know what they are.
So if you look at solvents for extracting, all right, you've got polar and non-polar soluble compounds on the plant flower itself. The trichome contains these compounds. So some need to be extracted with an alcohol or hydrocarbon type, and others can be extracted with water.
Well, I think the new big thing, the safe method, would be with the hydrogen, right? Like the frozen, freeze it, right? What do you call it?
For what?
To extract the cold
Yeah,
method.
but you're not extracting an oil.
You're not.
No.
Oh, okay.
You're extracting hash.
So you can't extract
because
oil
when you're doing a cold extraction, you're taking all of the cannabinoid, that's all of the crystalline structure that's on the plant is frozen and snapped off.
Yes.
Right? When you're making an oil, all of that is dissolved.
Because of the heat?
No, because of the solvent.
Okay.
Right?
So
what I did is I sat down with my little microscope and a bunch of glass slides and some eyedroppers, actually syringe. All right. What I did is I took little piles of collected trichome heads, just the little round balls, little tiny piles, and I had them on glass slides, and I put a drop of solvent on it to see how fast it actually dissolves. And I tried grain alcohol, which was around 98%. I tried naphtha, because that's what Rick Simpson was using.
Yeah, which is Rick's method, yes.
And I tried isopropyl alcohol.
Yes.
The grain alcohol, it did it. It just took a bit of time.
It takes longer with grain alcohol?
Yeah, it wasn't instant.
Is that because of the polar non-polar thing?
I think so, or it just could be a makeup of that alcohol itself, like of the chemical makeup for breaking down the outer shell of those bulbous heads, right? Okay. The naphtha took the longest.
That's a little personal, but okay.
Yeah, but the naphtha took the longest. The isopropyl, I thought I screwed up because as soon as I put the drop on, as soon as I looked through the microscope, it was a liquid.
Drop on it.
Right? And
so you put the drop on it.
Yeah, I put the drop on it, then look in the microscope. So then I had to try and get it aimed, start another pile, get it aimed with the syringe and the needle at just the right spot while looking through the microscope to place one drop, and it's literally instant. So I said, all right, that's the route that I'm going to go. So your argument about dunking or soaking, it depends on what you're using.
And also how much chlorophyll you want to have.
Yeah, well, the longer it soaks, the more chlorophyll you get.
Correct. But, I mean, you don't have to dunk. It's really only like a minute, not even, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't take more than a minute for almost all of the solvents. But we got people out there that are sitting there soaking it for like weeks, thinking that, I'm getting everything out of it. Well, no, because you're extracting chlorophyll out, but your chlorophyll is being replaced with your solvent.
And this is why I brought this up, Marcel.
Yeah,
because it just you need to know these things, right?
Yeah, there's a science behind everything, and I've been sitting back thinking about this over the last few days because I've had a lot to think about. And the issue is I have a hard time explaining things to people without realizing that they don't think like me. Right?
You know what? I've heard you speak and many times, dude, and you try and do it from a layman's point of view and you do that most every week with me because I don't understand the scientific shit like Darcy does.
Right, but for me, my problem with is, for me, this comes natural. Ever since I was a little kid, I figure things out, right? So I figure out how things work without people telling me how things work. I can usually figure it out on myself. So I worked in the hydraulic industry. I used to design hydraulic systems and things like that. I can walk into any place and look at any machine and tell you exactly how that works, right? Just by looking at the makeup of the machine. Might take me a few minutes if it's a really big machine and it does a lot of elaborate things, but I can figure it out. Nobody has to tell me this stuff. So for me to
I
figure out,
actually prefer figuring stuff out alone.
well, this is what I'd rather do, is rather direct people to the point where they can figure it out themselves.
I like to figure it out, and then I can tell people how to do it. Yeah.
Right. If I always figured you learn better if it's something that you can learn on your own.
I'm also a right brain thinker, and I have ADHD and dyslexia, so it's easier for me hand-on. I'll give you an example. I was studying photography at Humber College in Toronto, and they wouldn't let me continue because my dyslexia was impeding my classroom stuff, my essential courses, math, English, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was not able to complete those courses where all of my photography stuff was hands-on studio stuff, and I was getting 90s, you know? But because of that, they wouldn't let me continue because my educational portion was not, my requirements weren't there.
Right.
Which sucks. But
put this one up because Buddy brings up a good point. It's stop separating it out to individual cannabinoids and go full spectrum.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Ideally, I agree. That would be the best case scenario. The problem is THC and CBD can be extracted from other plants. It doesn't necessarily have to be a cannabis sativa strain. It could be a hemp strain that can still extract THC, CBD isolates, right? There's other plants they can use to extract just THC with no other
I think
cannabinoids.
that you should go with your idea. We're going to start a new segment every week taken from the big book of terpenes.
Yeah,
so that we're going to get to know some specific terpenes. I think that would be a good segment for us to do.
Yeah, but with the market flooded with CBD,
what's
right?
that?
And the market is flooded with distillate. Okay, a good whole full spectrum cannabis oil, and when I say a good one, I'm saying 75% plus THC. All right. So that'd be 75% THC, probably 10% CBD, and the rest would be the other cannabinoids. Not what I would call an ideal medical oil, but an average that would be considered as a good cannabis whole full spectrum oil. Market price would be around $40 a gram.
For people?
Yeah, for a market price. The distillate on
so why is it that I know patients 10 years ago that were paying $4,000 for a full dose? That, I mean,
because people were ripping them off. I mean,
fucking ridiculous.
It's kind of like sports memorabilia. Oh, yeah. I got a hockey card that's worth $13,000. No, you've got a hockey card that's worth nothing unless somebody wants to give you $13,000.
Correct.
Right? But until you actually get money in hand, your card is worthless.
Correct.
It's just a piece of paper, right? So your oil could be, you can claim your oil is worth $4,000, but it's only worth $4,000 to somebody that's going to pay $4,000, not somebody that knows. The problem is distillate can be bought 996 milligrams per gram. So 96, 97, 98% pure THC for $1 a gram.
Wow.
Right? CBD infused pillows. That's my favorite one. Right? It's a marketing ploy. I can sell you this gummy, and it's got 1,000 milligrams of THC, and you eat it, and you realize that you get more of an effect off of a 50 milligram whole plant
but
gummy.
it's not to say CBD doesn't have a good medicinal effect, but
It does, but it's not going to fucking have an effect in a pillow.
Yeah, I know.
Right? But it's a marketing ploy. Oh, we can sell this. Right? So it's like people say, well, what about cannabis shampoo? Go for it.
Well, we've talked about that because I've asked you about that for scalp issue.
Right. So that's
you
not
don't leave it in; it
scalp.
would just rinse it out, right?
Exactly, because the whole idea of a shampoo is a detergent to break down and remove oil off your hair. You're adding an oil to your hair, right? So that's why I said if you want to do a treatment, you do like an argon infused oil and rub it into your hair after you have your shower.
Or even a conditioner.
Or a conditioner.
Cannabis infused in conditioner would work fine.
A leave-in conditioner, not one that you rinse out.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Right. So then you're better to go with a.
See, Dale said lavender would work much better than a CBD.
Yeah, I don't believe that because I tried one of them lavender pillows and it just stinks.
Now he's going to search for a lavender. If you know where to get a lavender pillow, please let us know.
I don't want one. I've had one. They suck. I don't find any.
I don't know if I'd want. I don't mind the lavender smell, but I don't know if I'd want to have my face buried in a lavender plant all the time.
Well, with the pillow things, it only lasts like a day or two. So
the smell,
yeah, it just goes to a regular pillow. And imagine the CBD pillow. I don't know what they would smell like. Most people have no idea what CBD tastes like. Have you ever tried CBD whole plant extract? Just plain extract?
Probably.
It's like the spiciest pepperoni you'd ever put in your fucking tongue.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Yes, it does have a bite. Yep, it does.
Yep. But most people never know that.
I tried a diamond.
Yeah.
When I got them, just for shits and giggles. On Hi Guys, I took a nice sized diamond and just threw it in my mouth and chewed it up. And of course, my mouth went numb. But it wasn't like taking a glob of oil and swishing it around in your mouth for a little while. Okay, there's a big difference.
But you know what I used to like, and I haven't done it in a long time, only because I had to break myself of the habit. I used to love eating hash. I used to like.
You know what? I
a small bite off a gram or so, and just sit there and chew on it.
When I get an ounce, I'll do that, but not when I get a couple of grams.
Yeah, I get a temple ball sitting here right that I could take a bite of, but I just refrain.
You know what? It helps my pain. It just drops it down to nothing, and I can actually go do stuff. But you know what? So does smoking a joint with hash in it.
Yeah, but you know what? So does eating,
it's a different
capsules,
right?
Yeah, but eating capsules all day and ice creams, multiple ice creams, or chocolate covered marshmallows or gummies or whatever, I stay relatively pain free.
I don't have any hash right now. I ran out a couple of days ago. But I'd like to try the temple ball. I'm going to look and see if my places have it, or even if I can get it at the legal store. Right?
Oh.
I know they have the 1964 balls.
But there's a difference.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, I mean, I've had actual Afghani hash from Afghanistan.
So
okay.
we.
I know this because I know where the source came from.
Okay. I know this because the boats used to come into Halifax.
Okay, well, so
right?
same thing.
So we had
Let's
real
put it this
hash,
way.
and
I've tried
that's when I was in
verified
the
actual Afghanistan hash,
yeah.
and it's much different than the stuff that they call Afghani hash, right? And
Yeah.
it's got a different texture, and sometimes it even smells like poop.
Yeah.
I've had some authentic hash that every now and then you get a woof of poof.
Well, I've seen knockoff temple balls a
Which
lot.
I haven't tried and I want to.
The knockoffs?
No, a real.
Yeah. Well, the problem is with the real temple ball, it's 50-gram ball.
And what is the cost of a temple ball?
About $750.
Yeah, I've watched a video on YouTube on how it's made. I think that we should have another segment on a how it's made kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm writing these things down.
Yeah. So hash are a very regional thing, right? A lot of countries produce hash, and everybody's hash is just slightly different because they had different techniques. But in the end, it was still hash. Like Moroccan hash is totally different than Afghani hash.
Well,
which is totally different than Lebanese hash.
I made hash for the first time myself last year, and it was much different than I thought it was going to be. But I think it was because I didn't compress it. Right.
I can give you ideas on how to compress it.
Well, we'll talk about that when I have stuff to compress.
Yeah, basically a jar and some boiling water.
I'll use my squisher without heat.
No, because you need a little bit of heat. That's the thing.
Well, I can add as much heat as I want.
Right, but the problem is if you do it old school method, right, which is basically a jar of with boiling water in it, and
then push it down,
roll it, and press it out that way,
like a roller. A
much better consistency to it than just a physical press. Right?
Okay, and I understand that because it's the same principle as making dough.
Right. So at Toro Cannabis, I had to come up with a hash for Toro Cannabis, so we came up with bubble hash extraction,
which I saw you make at Harvest Fest.
Right. Freeze dried, scuffed to powder, and then pressed into a block. Right. But not enough heat to turn it into a temple ball consistency. Just enough heat to hold it together.
Tell me why you can go from a bubble hash to a temple ball consistency. Is it just the amount of kneading it? Like you with dough, it's from kneading it, and or candy stuff. You got to knead it to get everything together.
Yes. Yeah. So
they do the same kind of motion as they would with dough, I guess.
Yeah, to a point. It just depends on which one is doing it. Because I
know everybody's got their own technique.
I've got videos of people that are actually pressing it with their feet. All right.
I've seen that. Yeah, and I don't know if I want to smoke that.
Yeah, well, you may have. That's the thing.
I may have, yes.
So it just depends on who's doing it. If you wanted to do it yourself, and then do a bubble hash extraction and work it in the palm of your hand.
Can a legal store import hash from Europe?
No.
It has to be made in Canada.
Yeah, the legal industry cannot do any importation of cannabis products.
And can the legal industry make hash? I guess they can. Yes, I know. I know they can.
We just went through that, Al. I still have a can.
That was a good moment.
Yeah, the very first hash for Toro Cannabis, I still have a can of.
Oh, okay. I gapped that. Sorry.
I'll keep that for 5 or 6 years, and then someday I'll look and say, "Hey, geez, I get no hash." Yeah, right. But it could happen.
Are they still using the tins?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't shop for it.
Yeah,
I have nothing to do with them.
I know.
They're on their own.
I know.
And actually, Lennie still has to be nice. I don't have to be nice.
Yeah. Okay. But you're going to be, because we're almost done, and you've been nice this far.
Oh yeah. So Buddy likes dry sift. So him and Dale really get along. Because Dale's right into the dry sift too.
Oh God, he gets mounds of the fucking shit.
Yeah, no, I used to too. I used to sit and scuff.
Al does as well. Al has a tray that he like he's got a rolling box that he collects in, and every 6 months or so, he just got a mound of fucking stuff to run through, right?
Keefalator.
The keef, yep.
A keefalator. Yeah. We actually used one that you could walk inside of. It was that big of a drum. And shovel bud into it.
I'm going to look for some short videos that we can watch next week on hash making and oil making. It may be an illegal method in Canada, but it's a video.
We have to give that disclaimer that in some jurisdictions this may not be legal.
Is it legal anywhere in Canada to use alcohol to make concentrates?
No.
Okay, so then it's illegal methods, some of them.
Well, no, I'm not going to say that, because they allowed the LPs to do it. So it's not
really
illegal, because LPs with extraction licenses can use solvents for extraction.
And is this new?
No.
Okay.
It's been around since they've had extraction licenses.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't know that.
So,
I thought
all they did
we weren't allowed to do it. They weren't allowed to do it. They're in a controlled environment, though.
Yeah, but anybody that knows how to do it's going to do it in a controlled environment, or they blow themselves up. I have no sympathy for them, because a lot of it is I just read what Buddy says, and I'm going to argue that one with him.
Well, put it up and argue.
Ethanol alcohol is legal for medical patients. No, it's not. Because in Nova Scotia, you need a doctor's prescription to even get ethanol alcohol to begin with. So it's illegal to start with. We can't just go in. We don't have that option of going in and buying Alcool or Everclear, because it's not legal. But the Cannabis Act says,
a few years ago,
when the Cannabis Act thing come out, when they first came out, they said no organic solvents.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do
because
that if you have a doctor's note from your doctor saying that you make tinctures and stuff like that for health, that you can get a prescription for alcohol that the LCBO will ship directly to the store nearest to you, and you can go in and pick it up. And that's the way it was until legalization happened anyways.
Yeah. Well,
so it's not allowed anymore?
Well, no, that's the same option that we have here, is you can have a doctor write you a prescription for it, and then they can send it to whichever liquor store you need it, and you go in. I think it's $25 for
you can
500 milliliters. You can still do that, but it's not cost effective. The issue is where legality comes in is the way they worded the Cannabis Act. Because when they first started, they were saying that no organic solvents to do extractions. Well, butter, olive oil, coconut oil are all classified as organic solvents. So then they turned around and changed it to explosive solvents. Right? So any solvent that could explode, which is all of your hydrocarbons and your alcohols.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Be careful.
Yeah, you're dealing with heat and flammable product, right? So you hear about people blowing up their apartment building doing honey oil extractions with butanes. That's why.
It's happened in Kensington Market, just down the street from the Hot Box. A legal store was producing illegal oils in the basement and blew themselves up. Remember that?
Yeah.
And we know a few people who've blown themselves up as well.
Yes. So it's something that's got to be done with very adequate ventilation,
outside,
if not controlled systems. Ideally outside.
Come here.
Because if it does blow up, it's just outside. Right? So it may kill you, but it's not going to burn down your neighborhood.
All it's going to do is scare the bear away.
Might do that too. Butane extraction should never be done indoors.
Now you tell me.
CO2 extractions should be done in a safe room.
Concrete.
And what I mean by a safe room is one that if that unit blows up, nobody's going to get hurt.
Yes.
Right? Because
nobody's in there when it's on, in other words.
Well, yeah, but you still have to kind of go in and be around it. So it's a risk. Everything has a risk.
Yes.
Right? So even a CO2 extraction is not a safe extraction. There's always a risk. You're dealing with high pressure carbon dioxide.
Hey, guess what? Time to say goodnight.
It is, isn't it? And we didn't even have a grow segment, other than we found out that price of the seeds that suggested is anywhere from $50 to $100. That was the grow segment. Thank you for that part, Dale. Remember, it was $50, $75, $100. Those are good prices.
We will figure out the grow segment thing.
Yeah.
Say goodnight.
Oh, wait now. I just want to read this before we leave.
You put that up.
I tried to buy... No, it's a big one. I tried to buy barrels of alcohol for extraction and got the runaround, and they wanted me to get a distiller license to buy barrels at $35,000 license. They sent me the LCBO for it.
Holy fuck, eh?
Yeah, I would go online and take a look at YouTube videos on how to make grain alcohol if you so want to use grain alcohol. And because if you're going to go to the point of extracting for oil, you might as well go make your own alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Also illegal. Yeah, also illegal. But hit me up sometime off of here, and I can point you in the direction of really good stills. If you want to do extracting of alcoholic substances.
All right, gentlemen, it's time to go. Thanks for listening. We're here Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And
usually on Friday nights. Yeah, usually.
Yeah, usually. Not usually. We try to be. Yeah, try to be.
Oh, Buddy's got two. He can make his own.
Peace out, gentlemen.